Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Naif bin Nuran and I am a third year software engineering student. My PSM project, I will do the system development where the title is a Student Performance Monitoring System for Sekolah Agama Menengah Tinggi Tengku Ampuan Jamaah Samtouch. For my supervisor for this PSM project will be Dr. Suhaila binti Muhammad Yusof. Firstly, I will share the overview of my presentation. I will present about the chapters in PSM 1 report. In the chapter 1, I will present about the problem background, aim, project objective, and also project scopes. For the chapter 2, I will present about the literature review, and for the chapter 3, I will present about the methodology choice and justification, and also the requirement analysis. And for the chapter 4, I will present about the system design, database design, and interface design. Sekolah Agama Menengah Tinggi Tengah Ampuan Jamaah has offered two types of courses. The first one is a general courses such as Bahasa Melayu, Mathematics and Science, and the second type of courses is Islamic religious courses. So the first problem is they don't have any effective monitoring system to help the educators to analyze the achievement and improvement for the Islamic religious subjects. The second one is the course and examination that require memorization and review, such as the tilawah and hafazan, are done manually, in which the educators cannot keep the data safely and the performance of the progress is not satisfying both educators and students. And last one is the time for students to review the memorization tasmate is limited, where usually students and educators will do the session outside class time, but due to non-organized schedule, this caused the student to spend a lot of time waiting for their turn. Next, for the project aim. So this project's purpose is to help the educators from the Sekolah Agama Menengah Tinggi Tengku Ampuan Jamaah Samtouch to monitor the students' achievement and improve the learning plan, especially Islamic religious courses taught in school. For the project objective, the first one is to study and analyze the problems in existing system relating to student monitoring and perform the requirement core activities such as elicitation to collect the user requirement from the stakeholder. The second one is to design a system based on the requirements and needs received from the stakeholder for the student performance monitoring system. The third one is to develop the system according to the user requirements and database design. And lastly, to test and validate the final form of the proposed system with the end user to find the potential bugs or errors before deploying the system. Next, for the project scopes. This system is for the Sekolah Agama Menengah Tinggi Tengku Ampuan Jamaah. Users for this system will be the administrator, educators, students, and also the parents. And the students user in the system will be the fourth form students who taking the Sijil Menengah Agama examination only. The fourth one is administrator can add and remove the users of educators, students, and parents. And for the educators, they can insert the student examination grades for the Islamic religious subjects, which can be viewed by both students and parents. And next, the system can generate automatically a graph bar for examination grades of Islamic religious subjects, which can be viewed by educators only. The next one is educators can manage the memorization task, where they can add, delete, and update. Next, students can set a memorization task to complete it, in which the system will allow the user to pick a date for reviewing session. And next one is educators can accept or decline the date chosen by student. And lastly, for the decline dates, educators can set another specific date for student as appointment for reviewing the memorization task session. Next, for the literature review, I will present about the school organization. So, the Sekolah Agama Menengah Tinggi Tengku Ampuan Jamaah is one of the schools known with the great achievement in academics and co-curricular in Selangor. So, this school is also a part of Sekolah Agama Bantuan Kerajaan (SABK) that located in Jalan Cahaya, Section 11, Shah Alam. So, the school principal is Tuan Haji Hashim Fahmi, has led with more than 60 teachers and 10 school staff. As a religious type of school, the school has provided general subject and religious subjects for every student. Students in the fifth form will take the Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia (SPM) as their final evaluation of their studies for general subjects, while students in the fourth form will take Sijil Menengah Agama (SMA) as a final evaluation of their studies for religious subjects. Next, for the current system use, for the general subjects, they offer a total of 70 subjects with 10 elective subjects. And system analysis peperiksaan sekolah sub is used to keep the examination results and analyze the students' performance, academic performance. And SPM during fifth form is their final examination to evaluate the study outcome. And for the religious subjects, the school offer the total of 9 subjects. For example, the Mutalaah wa Tabir, Tilawah dan Hafazan, Fiqh, Tafsir and Hadis. Usually, they will use Excel to keep the examination result and analyze the students' academic performance manually. And SMA during fourth form will be their final examination to evaluate the study outcome. Next is current system analysis. So the first system existing system that I found is a system pengurusan sekolah agama menengah agama kerajaan negeri Pahang. So the system has been built by the Jabatan Agama Islam Pahang, where the system is to handle the management of the school management of the religious type school in Pahang. So the system has the functions such as the registration, and also the system provide the function such as reviewing and analysis for the Sijil Menengah Agama examination results. So the next existing system is system analysis peperiksaan sekolah (SAPS), where the system is introduced by the Ministry of Education. And this system is to assist the educator in making the student examinations marks report to be more organized, and also the system is to help them to monitor their students' learning level and performance in school. This is a comparison between the existing system with the proposed system. So the first features is generate analysis of student examination results in the form of graph. Only the student performance monitoring system will provide this feature. And the next feature is a generate student examination slip. All the system will provide this feature. And for the next feature is the cover for general academic course. Only subs cover for general academic course, while SPSMA and student performance monitoring system cover for religious academic course. Next one is the user-friendly interfaces. SPSMA and student performance monitoring system has provide the user-friendly interfaces. And lastly is the calendar function, where student can book time for reviewing memorization tasks. And these features only student performance monitoring system provide this feature. Next, I will present about the methodology used for the system development. For this system development, it will use the iterative incremental model. This is because any changes made in the requirement can be easily done and would not affect the whole project, because the new requirement can be done in the next iteration. Other than that, risk is analyzed and identified in the iterations, and also the defects can be detected at early stage. Next, as the product is divided into smaller chunks, it is easy to manage the product, and lastly, the product quality can be improved by each iteration. For the student performance monitoring system, so this web application development will be divided into 5 incremental subsystems, which are the user management module, profile management module, examination management module, memorization test module, and also the appointment for reviewing module. Next, I will present about the phases of the choosing methodology. So the first phase is the requirement gathering and analysis. So during the phase, all the data requirements will be identified, and interview session will be done, and questionnaires has been carried out among the teachers in Sekolah Agama Menengah Tinggi Tengku Puan Jamaah. The next phase is the design, where system design such as architectural design, interface design, data design, and test case design are generated. And the next phase is implementation and coding. So the software design in the design phase will be translated into the source code, and all the components required will also be implemented. And the next phase is testing, where after finish of each iteration, the testing phase will be proceed to evaluate the performance and ensure the build system can run expectedly and to detect any defects. And next phase is the deployment, for after all the iteration are finished and all the user needs and specification are fulfilled. So the proposed system will be deployed in server for users from sekolah agama menengah tinggi Tempang Jemaah use it. And the last phase is maintenance, where this phase where all the changes will be done to maintain the product with the latest technology. Next one is I will share about the programming language and tool use description. So for the system development, for the programming language, I will use the development will use the HTML for the front end of the web application and also to be displayed in the web browser. The next programming language is CSS, where this will be used to style the web page. And the next one is JavaScript, where will be used for in the client side, which JavaScript will be used to assist the HTML. And the next one is Java, where it will be the back end of the web application, and it will perform the server side that channels the application with the database. And lastly, MySQL, where this programming language will be the one to manage the database of the application and the connection between the database and web page to fetch data. Next, for the requirement analysis design, for the functional requirement, I will explain through detail from the use case diagram, sequence diagram, and also the activity diagram. And for the non-functional requirements, for the performance, this web page can be load less than 10 seconds. Web page can handle more than 200 users at a time, and all changes made will be updated in 10 seconds. And this system will be expected to be always available. And for the security, the system should provide the login function which only the registered user can use the system, and each role has constraints which they cannot perform the function that is not for them. And lastly, the system should keep the user information confidential. This is the overall use case diagram for the system. So, and as we can see, it consists of the four type of actors: admin, teacher, student, and parents. Student and parents will share the same behavior for in the system, and in the system will contains of the 13 use case. This is the sequence diagram for the system. So this sequence diagram is used to visualize the interaction and flow within the system. And as we can see, it have the five type of controller. The first one, user management, login or profile controller, examination management, memorization task, and also the calendar appointment. This is the activity diagram for the system, where it will use to capture the workflow behavior of the system from the one activity to another. This is the system design for the system. So this system architectural design will apply of the model view controller pattern. So, and as we can see, this pattern has the model, where the model consists of the admin, teacher, student, examination subject, extracurricular, memorization task, and also the appointment. And for the view, consists of the admin homepage, teacher homepage, student homepage, examination management homepage, and and others. And for the controller, it has the user controller, profile controller, and examination controller, extracurricular controller, memorization task controller, and appointment controller. This is the database design or the entity relationship design for the system. And as we can see, the system will contain of six table. The first one is user, second one is student, the third one is a subject, and the fourth one is examination, the fifth one is a memorization, and the last one is a task reviewing. Next is the sample of the initial design for this system. The design may be changed during the development. So this is the sample. The first one is the login page. The second one is the teacher home page, where as you can see the menus on the left side, And the third page, the third one is the examination analysis page, and the fourth one is a memorization task page, and the fifth one is the student home page, and the last one is the student for the student memorization task reviewing. Lastly, for the conclusion, the problem of sometimes educators and students face for the Islamic religious subject already been studied, and also the analysis on the existing system and comparison between the similar system has been conducted and documented. And next, the requirements also have been gathered and elicited through the interviews and passing questionnaire within the teachers. And all the requirements gathered are analyzed and already documented in SRS. And lastly, the architecture design, database design, user interface design, and test kit design are completed. Last but not least, for the PSM2 planning, I will proceed with the implementation and coding phase, where the system will be divided into the 5 incremental module. And the next phase is testing will be performed after finish for each module. And the testing will be performed with the user to receive feedback and comments to ensure that the features satisfy the user requirement. And lastly, before delivered to the end user, user acceptance testing will be performed to determine whether the system ready to deliver or not. That's all from me, and thank you for listening.